Hello everyone and welcome back to the Foreplay channel. I'm Bella.
And I'm Jace.
And in today's video, we'll be talking about what are swinger playrooms really like and how to prepare for your first time. If you're new to the lifestyle, stepping into your first playroom can feel exciting, but it can also feel really intimidating. Before we get into what a playroom is really like, there are steps to take before your first experience. Before even stepping foot into a playroom, it's important to have conversations with your partner about your rules and boundaries. We know it can be hard to know exactly what those are if you've never had an experience, but talking through hypothetical situations can help you see how things feel as a couple. These discussions make sure you're not doing more than what you're comfortable with and help prevent surprises. It's also completely okay for your rules and boundaries to change over time as you gain experience and confidence. The key is keeping the conversation open and honest so both partners feel safe and respected. If you want to dive deeper into common rules and boundaries, we'll have a video linked below that covers all of that more in detail. It's also important to set realistic expectations for your first playroom experience. You don't have to do everything or meet every person there or even do anything or meet even one person. Remember that your main focus should always be on you and your partner enjoying the experience together at your own pace. And by keeping your connection and comfort as the priority, you'll create a foundation for a positive and enjoyable first experience.
So what is a playroom? It is an area where adults can go, and you kind of have an area where you can do spicy adult activities together. And those are maybe at clubs or at venues. You could have one set up at a house. And that kind of brings us to on-premise versus off-premise clubs and events. So what on-premise means, it means there is going to be a playroom at that event or that club or wherever it is. Those could be multiple different sizes, but that means whenever you go to that club, there is going to be an area where you are able to go and play or observe. But off-premise means that maybe you go to that club, you meet some people, there isn't going to be anywhere there that you're able to play. You can go, back to a hotel or someone's house, but it's really good to know that and distinguish it. If it's your first night, you really want to go to your swinger club and you're so excited to go to your playroom, and then it's off premise, you're going to be a little bit disappointed if there's no playroom there. So that's just a good thing to note, is there is differences and not every single event or club is going to have an on-premise playroom. Another thing to note is what to wear to these. Now this is also going to vary a lot. You're going to have some places that have a more structured or strict guideline to what you wear. Some you may have to wear lingerie, or maybe you have to go and you have to be in a towel, where others you can be in street clothes. And what we mean by street clothes is maybe you wear maybe you have a dress on, or you have, a shirt like what I'm wearing, and you're able to wear that through the playroom and you don't have to change clothes or switch into that lingerie or towel. It's also good to note that a lot of times whenever an event or a club has you wear a towel or a lingerie, they will have lockers or bags or something like that where you are able to switch out of your street clothes into that towel or lingerie. But that's a good thing to note if you're looking to go maybe to your first playroom or your first club. See what kind of rules they have for their playroom, because you wouldn't want to have your street clothes and not have something to change into and then not be able to go back there. So that's just a good thing to note before you go to your first club or event as well.
When it comes to heading into a playroom, we always suggest having a go bag. And this is a small bag you keep ready to grab anytime, filled with things you might need for a playroom or a play date. What you include will vary from couple to couple, but some essentials might be toys, lube, protection, wipes, and maybe a small towel. Some couples also like to include mints, deodorant, or a change of clothes for afterwards, and maybe some body fragrance spray. And having this bag ready helps you feel more relaxed and prepared so you can focus on the experience instead of worrying about if you forgot something. And it's also a great way to make sure that you always have what you need, whether you plan something in advance or a moment just happens spontaneously. And think of this as your just in case bag, so you're always ready for any spicy fun that may come about.
So what about like staff and cleaning and security? That is a huge misconception about lifestyle clubs and playrooms especially. People think that anyone can go in there and just do whatever they want and it's some sort of free-for-all, and that is not the truth at all. In most event spaces and clubs and things like that, at least reputable ones, you are going to have security guards. You're going to have people that are working there that are going around making sure that nobody is breaking the rules, making sure that everyone is feeling safe and protected. Also, there is a lot of clubs where you have people that are going to be changing sheets constantly. As soon as somebody is done with them, there will be people who come in and their job is to change those sheets so that area is clean and good for the next person. Some clubs that are a little bit smaller maybe do not have people that are changing those sheets, but oftentimes, and generally in those cases, you have sheets somewhere next to it that once you are done, you go and change them yourself. It's really important that we keep these areas clean and tidy, and it's really a big thing in the lifestyle. So it's good to note that it's not some dirty, crazy place. These areas are kept very well kept. They normally smell very nice, which is also a misconception that people have. They usually have a very dark, sensual, spicy lighting. And like I said, it's just good to note that these are areas that you can feel safe and comfortable, so you can explore this spicy side and that everyone there feels comfortable as having a good time overall. A lot of clubs and places like that will also have things like sanitization, so maybe there is hand sanitizer, ways to get clean. There's usually bathrooms around really close as well. Lots of clubs will have protection that you can use. We still recommend bringing your own just in case you're looking for something specific, but they do normally have some sort of protection as well as towels for either cleanup or, for whatever you may need them for. But most clubs or events will also have things like that as well. And then also depending, there is a lot of places that have water, which is super great because you can get really dehydrated in these types of situations. So it's awesome whenever playrooms have water as well. And just knowing that these systems are in place, it helps to keep everyone safe and having a great time in playrooms.
Remember that respect and consent are the foundation of every playroom experience and really every experience in the lifestyle. Nothing happens without a clear agreement from everyone involved, and the key is that everyone communicates, respects boundaries, and checks in regularly. Understanding this will help disprove the myth that playrooms are chaotic, dirty, dangerous, or unstructured, and they're actually very intentional spaces for safe exploration. And now that we have the basics covered, let's get into what a playroom is really like. It's good to note that this is a general overview of playrooms, and every playroom can vary, not all will be the same. So first, playrooms are not a free-for-all, like Jay said earlier. They are spaces designed for consensual, respectful experiences, and contrary to what most people believe, from our experience, the vast majority of guests are couples actually exploring with their own partner. Most beds or areas are occupied with usually just two people. Many couples enjoy being in a sexually charged environment around them while doing the actual activity with their own partner. And maybe they like being watched, or maybe the idea of spicy things happening around them is exciting. But you'll definitely see groups of different sizes together as well, and no one is expected to make the first move or engage with anyone outside of their comfort zone. And if someone asks you if you're interested and you aren't, no means no, and that's it. Everyone moves on. Same goes the other way too. In addition to each individual person's own rules and boundaries, great venues also usually have rules set in place to protect everyone and create a positive environment. These typically include a sign or form you agree to when entering the premise that includes consent, privacy, and respecting boundaries. Understanding that the space is structured and that rules are enforced helps everyone feel more relaxed and confident.
So what do they actually look like once you get in there? Well, this is going to vary drastically. You're going to have playrooms that are massive, that have a ton of space with huge beds. You're also going to have ones that are a little bit more intimate and smaller, and that's just going to vary club to club. And there's different types of rooms in these clubs. So you have private rooms. Those are going to be rooms that are going to be more where you can close the door, go in there, and it's a small space just for the people involved. Generally, people are not going to be able to see in these rooms. Sometimes they may have a window, but generally private rooms are like that. It's a private room for just the people involved. You're going to have things that are semi-private rooms where maybe you have a sheer curtain that you can see through, so people can see into that, so it's kind of private, but it's not extremely private. And then you're going to have more of your exhibitionist voyeur type areas where it is just open and out and people can just see in, and these are all going to vary as well. You may have ones that have multiple beds pushed together that are a very big group play bed type area, where sometimes you're going to have one or two beds next to each other, or just an individual kind of offshoot bed. It really does vary very drastically. Some of these beds may have curtains on them. Some of those are those sheer curtains like I talked about that make it that semi-private. You may have ones that have opaque curtains that you can't see through at all, and when you have those, it gives more of that private feel even though it's not a closed door. These areas generally have a very sensual, spicy lighting. There'll be music going on sometimes. If so, it's generally something soft and just you can kind of hear it in the background. It's generally more the sounds of what's going on in the room is really what you hear. These rooms normally, like I said earlier, smell nice and are kept smelling nice throughout the evening, and it's really fun because every different club, every different venue is going to feel a little bit different, so playrooms are just an awesome area to explore anytime you go somewhere new in the lifestyle. So when it comes to observing and participating, like Bella said earlier, you never need to participate or observe. You can do whatever you want to do, and it's really important that you know those things and you go in and your focus on is you and your partner and exploring in the way that you want to. People in the lifestyle really do value those boundaries and respect that, so no, just like what Bella said, if you ever feel uncomfortable, no means no. You can say those things. And as a general rule, people are going to be so respectful of that. Of course, there's people who are those bad apples, but those are the kind of people who usually actually get removed from the club. And that's why that security and things like that are so important in clubs like these. It's also good to note that not every club everywhere is just going to be open for watching. There's going to be areas where you can go and you can watch, and that's more what is expected in those areas. And there's going to be areas where you're not able to watch. It's also good to note that we like to, if you're going to be in a playroom, maybe move around. You know, there's people that are doing those activities in there, and while yes, lots of people like to be watched, just standing and sitting next to one couple could make some people feel uncomfortable. So we highly recommend also kind of moving around and viewing everything, not just staying in one area, just so that everyone is feeling the most safe and comfortable overall.
Next is tips for first timers. First, we'd recommend to arrive to the venue early and get a tour of the place. Usually clubs will give tours for the first time guests who arrive by a certain time, and this is the perfect time to see the space before it's been utilized for you to be able to ask questions and maybe even meet some other first time guests too. And if you do have questions, you can always ask. Staff are there to help, and it's better to ask than to feel uncertain. And then go in with no expectations. You don't have to do anything your first time. It's totally okay just to watch and take it all in. Like Jace just mentioned, we do recommend that if you are observing, you do move around the room when possible and avoid staying too long in one area to make sure the participants don't feel uncomfortable, but focus on being present rather than to try to make something happen. Set a signal with your partner, like a simple gesture that you both know and agree on, or a word can help communicate if you want to step away or if you need to take a break. This is especially important for times during any activity. We often look at each other and we ask like, are you okay? And we'll do like a hand signal or just mouth the words to each other to make sure we're still on the same page and still enjoying the experience. And remember, a no thank you is always an acceptable answer. You never owe anyone an explanation for declining an invitation or being uninterested. People in the lifestyle understand, and comfort and consent always comes first. And with that, here are some final thoughts. Your first playroom experience doesn't need to be overwhelming, and with open communication and boundaries and an understanding of your rules and expectations, it can be an enjoyable and memorable experience. Make sure you take your time to respect yourself and others, and remember that the lifestyle is about fun, exploration, and connection, and not pressure. And the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel, and the more you can enjoy the unique experiences that Playrooms offer.
So I really hope this video was able to help kind of give you an idea of what Playrooms are really like, so you have a realistic expectation going in and you have a little bit more confidence on your belt. That way you can go in and have an amazing first time at your first experience in a Playroom. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a comment down below, subscribe so you never see post a video, and like this video as well, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!